hair on you. I don't know why.
Thank you. Thank you. So today is our day 2 of our gratitude challenge.
Oh, you started?
Yes,
I didn't tell us now.
First day now.
I
always announce it before January.
On social media? Did you put your social media?
Yes, social media. I do the, you know, yesterday we were all about the new year and all, and I didn't say that. So yesterday I was grateful for life, breath and everything. Today I'm grateful for family. And one of the reasons I picked family, because I realized that everybody who is a part of your family is someone who has agreed in your soul contracts to come here with you and play the role that they play. So the good, the bad, the ugly, the wicked, the envious, all of them are playing the role that they needed to play, that they agreed to play to take you to your destiny. So instead of having that animosity towards anyone, just appreciate them for who they are, the role that they are playing, for agreeing to support you in your own soul contract. It's amazing. I'm grateful for everybody. Even the ones that I felt for a time that we couldn't even relate, I understand and I appreciate, and I thank them for agreeing to play that role for my destiny.
Oh my Lord, you don't good, a lie. Like you're a freaking masterpiece. You know why? Because what you say, you said it really casually. But if somebody is saying family as a soul contract, do you know how uplifting that for many souls? Because yes, this person might have issues with you, but because there was a soul contract even before we existed. So I can use that as a benefit, as a benefit to reconcile with you. That okay, there's something, God brought us here together. Our souls were connected even before we came. So there's something I can reconcile because there's something that connects us, that I can look beyond the physical challenges that we're going through,
the pain,
you know,
and just see beyond it and appreciate. And it's not only for family, even for friends. Like we being here and see what Kate Henshaw and Trude was saying about the bond that we have. I've seen a lot of shows with women. I've worked with women, and I haven't experienced the sort of bond that we have here.
No, just what you're saying.
We had a contract before
just
we
what
came.
Mo is saying.
That at some point
we've had our fights.
We have our fights, but we understand
it's part of the bonding.
that we are linked and we are connected.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Just go and do master.
Write book.
All those Indian people that always do. Go sit down somewhere and let us just be.
Don't be a guru.
Like you don't
Guru BC.
All right, let's go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Exchange of 919 naira to the dollar. Over 168,000 travelers benefit from transportation fare rebate in 10 days. And why my detractors are unrelenting, says Fubara. Okay, which story starting
Major headlines.
Major headline.
President, announced yesterday to his cabinet members and ministers and heads of agencies that better shape up or ship out, according to how the nation carried it. He said a 28.27 trillion budget was passed, and 10 trillion of that amount goes to capital expenditure. Our recurrent expenditure will be 8.8 trillion, and will service debt with 8.2 trillion, have statutory transfers of 1.7 trillion. And he used the opportunity to commend the National Assembly. He said that he sent the budget November for a reason, early in November for a reason, because he wanted them to iron out issues. He said he sent a 27 point something trillion, and the House added 1.2 trillion to it for effectiveness. And he's appreciative of the fact that all those nitty-gritty were ironed out on time. So he commended the National Assembly for a good synergy with the executive, and used the opportunity to reel out what the MDAs or the ministries under him are expected to do. They're supposed to give monthly reports of effectiveness of their budgets applications. So each MDA will apply what they have been allocated to them, diligently, and give periodic reports of their successes. Any of such a laxity on your part, we never complete and do.
Go home.
Go and rest, you're not serious.
All right, so our First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has visited ailing Nollywood actor Mr. Zach Orji at the National Hospital in Abuja. She was actually there initially to see the first baby herself and the wife of the Vice President, Hajia Nana Shettima, the Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Kennedy, the wife of the Minister for Works, Mrs. Rachel Umahi, and wife of the Minister of State for Defense, Mrs. Bello Matawale, and they were there to celebrate the first baby of the year in Abuja. And while she was there, I think she was informed that Zach Orji was also in the hospital. So she went there to see him. She spent about 15 minutes, and he had to, if you recall the reports, he had slumped in the toilet and was rushed to the hospital. His video was being circulated online while he was, which was really, really unfounded and wrong.
Yeah.
But we're grateful that the First Lady stopped there to see him, and he has recovered. He's now conscious, and he's still under recovery. So hopefully he'll be much better soon.
Yes, I have a story from Plateau State. The governor is talking. They say, according to Nation, says openly lamenting the Christmas Eve attacks. I'll just read directly his quote instead. So the governor says that. So in his New Year's address, he talks about a year of hope in the midst of conflict, a year of deliverance, restoration, and progress. But then he also went back to how 2023 ended in many communities in Plateau State. He says that he was emphasizing that these attacks are not, they're not farmer-header clashes as is being traditionally just talked about. He says this is about genocide. He said that the unprovoked and simultaneous attacks in different villages were premeditated and coordinated. This series of attacks on our people are a clear case of criminality, insurgency, and terrorism, and must be seen and handled in that manner if we must succeed in halting this wanton destruction of lives and property. He says it's a misrepresentation of facts to describe this unprovoked, needless attacks on our people as farmer-header clash. And, he commiserated with the people and saying that they're working with the federal government to see the end to this, and bring the people who have perpetrated this to book. This is such a tough, it's really tough. I mean, Plateau State is in the news many times because of these sort of attacks. And I just hope that we will finally see the end of this. And finally, that we will see prosecution, we'll see thorough investigation. And people will be named, and people will pay for these crimes. It's enough of hiding behind farmer-header clashes. It makes no sense that a group of people can come into communities, shoot for 2 days. Hundreds of people will tell you that there were 3-month-old babies with gunshot wounds. Mothers, children, fathers, livelihoods, properties just destroyed.
Wiped out.
And then they go. And then we say they came and they left.
I watched this on Netflix. I don't think I watched it. War, I think it's War, Wrath, and Revenge. At this point,
War,
Ebony Life.
Yes.
I watch it because that even gave you a better perspective
What was
to
going on?
the possible political undertones to some of these things we see when these things happen. So it's really painful, especially from Plateau State. It really touches home. But this is something that should affect every Nigerian. We keep hearing, the only news I hear from Plateau State is the same story, and it's really painful.
But it raises my concern on resources. Sometimes when you see war happening like this, there's pilfering of resources. I think that the security agencies should start to investigate other possible causes as well.
We all need to speak up here. So,
Have a story in
yeah, I have a story in the nation. This story has been dear to my heart since the federal government had announced they were going to give a rebate in transportation prices. So I had to send my drivers on errands because they went to the east to, also confirm. But what I'm getting is they are designated buses that actually have the opportunity to give all of this. And the Committee on the Implementation of End-of-Year Transportation Subsidy Program of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Dr. Dele Alake, yes, was the one who said that over 160,000 passengers have so far benefited from the program. As a matter of fact, it's 163 passengers, 878, Nigerians. And he said that he was one that announced the progress report yesterday. He said, reminded us how on December 19, the president had approved free transportation on the Nigerian Railway Corporation routes, that's for the rail, and also 50% subsidy on transportation fares for passengers on 30 routes serviced by bus operators under the Umbrella Association, the Association of Luxury Bus Owners of Nigeria. So if you had taken those luxury buses, you would have gotten it, because now they have a number, and it's good that they gave us the number, they made the promise, they fulfilled the promise, they gave us the number, we can also verify, and this is a good one, and the president did that to just make sure that Nigerians, a bit of them, are still okay this season.
Okay, the Punch. APC defends federal government as Labour warns against failed promises. President signs budget as National Assembly raises lawmakers' allocation to 344 billion naira. Hoodlums still kill Lagos police officer in Adamawa. Jagba, UK stops Nigerian students, others from bringing dependents. Lagos to begin Lekki Airports 2024, says Commissioner. Dangote Refinery gets fresh 1 million crude barrels. Christmas Eve massacre, not farmer header conflict, government insists. And FG insists on electricity subsidy amid tariff review. Okay, let's take one story before we're going to break.
It's the Jagba. So the Home Office of the United Kingdom, yesterday, January 1, did New Year to us and announced that it has commenced the implementation of its policy banning Nigerian students and other overseas students from bringing independence via the study visa route. And when they posted this on Twitter, Nigerians, of course, will commit session, but let me take the details. They said that they are also fully committed to a decisive court on migration. So students will no longer be able to bring in family members to the UK to study, but there's an exemption for postgraduate research or government-funded scholarship students. So those ones are exempted. All of us, government go fund us.
We always find a way.
Oh my
government, what the heck? Their antenna don't raise. Government
they put in law to stop Nigerian students and other students studying from bringing dependents except specific circumstances. They also said that the UK government aims to bring down immigration because the immigration now stands at 1 million. And under their new rule now, they will remove the permission for international students to switch out of the student route and into work routes before their studies have been completed to prevent misuse. They also say they will clamp down on these agents who are unscrupulous education agents who make use of inappropriate application to sell immigration and not education.
Okay, we have to go on a break. When we come back, we continue with our review.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Waiting again if I dey hide my special seasoning.
Waiting again if I no use Ajinomoto cook for my family. Ajinomoto, wey be say na sugarcane dey take make am, e dey give my food that totori deliciousness.
Ajinomoto goes through the same fermentation process like Iru, Ukpei, and Dadawa, which contains glutamate. Did you know glutamate occurs naturally in vegetables, cheese, breast milk, and in Ajinomoto?
Ajinomoto umami seasoning was discovered.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century, speaking advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Try the improved Onga Chicken Cube for great chicken taste and aroma.
Discover Lipton's flavorful and balanced taste. We pick fine quality tea leaves from selected tea gardens around the world. To give you Lipton Yellow Label's flavorful and balanced taste in every sip.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Any stories?
Yes, I have the human interest story. So a mobile police officer attached to the 43 PMF of the Lagos State Police Command has been murdered on New Year's Day in Adamawa State. So they said the officer, identified as Inspector Richard Felix, and was attacked at Shagamu Hotel, Yola South Local Government area of Adamawa by some men at about 12:10 a.m. Yesterday. And they said the police had raced to the scene of the incident. The 46-year-old policeman was discovered with severe injuries on his chest, and he was quickly rushed to the specialist hospital in Yola, where he was confirmed dead. Later on, they said that they actually brought him in dead. And the story also says some thugs attacked the policeman who was not in uniform. They don't know why he was attacked. When the police got to the scene, they had just rushed him quickly to the hospital. And so we don't have some of the details. Some persons are also asking, they say he's supposed to be in Lagos. They don't have a reason why he's in Adamawa State at the time that it happened. But one person has been arrested, a suspect has been arrested, and investigations are ongoing. So maybe they'll be able to uncover what's actually happened. And this is painful. We really do not have enough policemen for us to just be losing them like this.
So the Commissioner for Information and Strategy of Lagos State, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, has said that the state government will focus on completing ongoing projects, and they will use the 2.2, very ambitious 2.2 trillion naira budget judiciously. According to him, exciting times are on the way. Moments and great projects that are going to be completed. He mentioned that there will be one of the first projects is going that the Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu will complete the Mercy Seat Hospital. It's going to be the largest pediatric hospital in Africa by the time it's completed.
Okay.
The Medical Health Center in Ketu, Ejiri, says it's going to be a mental health hospital. It's a rehab center. It's going to be over 500-bed hospital that will be completed. He says that it's going to, there's a hospital being built in Ojo, the Ojo General Hospital, which has its first in decades. It's also going to be completed, and very important, the new airport that they are building in Lekki area would also come on board. So these are some mega projects on the way in Lagos State, and these are exciting times that we should just support and provide support the government and as a plan to provide employment for more Nigerians with these projects.
Okay, so the Dangote refining complex has received its fourth crude oil shipment of 1 million barrels of Bunny Light crude supply by NNPCL. They said the MD had said that the refinery will receive about 4 million crude shipments before the end of 2023, and then the remaining 2 by early January 2024. And that this, once this is done, it will put the refinery in good stead to commence operation. Once the 6 million barrels are fully delivered, it will facilitate the initial run of refinery as well as kickstart the production of diesel, aviation fuel, and LPG, and then subsequently PMS. So they're also saying that this will play a pivotal role in alleviating the fuel supply challenges faced by Nigeria as well as West African countries, as we all know. So this report talked about the refinery, its capacity, and he says that it's fully self-sufficient. It will be able to take care of 100% of all our needs and also be available for export. So we're quite excited to this, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay, moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. Pope wades into Plateau attacks. Governor declares 1 week mourning. Applies civil war strategy on terrorists. Anglican bishop tells federal government. High expectations as Tinubu signs 2024 budget into law. NSITF to expand social security net in 2024. First Lady Remi Tinubu supports effort to separate conjoined twins in National Hospital. IPOP tackles Tinubu, Shetima over insecurity in Southeast. Igbo lawmakers, women demand Kanu's release. And LP, now Nigeria's main opposition party, says Peter Obi. Okay, which story are we taking?
Let me just take the Plateau story just for different perspectives. So there's a mourning period in Plateau State right now, as announced by the governor. So it's from January 1st to 8th. During this period, the flag will be at half-mast. And the governor is also asking the Muslim community in the mosque also on Friday to, recognize that day as well. So that's what is happening. And so I guess we're asking the whole country to join Plateau State this period. And then hopefully beyond prayers, that work is being put in place for the investigation, prosecution, and just the end of these incessant killings in Plateau State.
Okay, so the First Lady, just like Murayo said, had visited the National Hospital for the 1st of January, usual ceremonies, and on that visit she saw a conjoined twins at the National Hospital, which she offered to support the separation of them. She also made the offer when she was there. The Chief Medical Director of the hospital, while appreciating her support, asked for more support towards the legacies of the National Hospital to ensure that, this is the foremost in the country, continue to give free medical health or medical health as affordable as possible.
So Bishop Timothy Yahaya of the Anglican Communion, Kaduna Diocese, in his New Year message, advised the federal government to apply what he calls civil war strategy against the alarming rate of terrorist attacks and killings in the country. And he said that, remember that in the Civil War, Nigeria had about 10,000 population of armed forces, but in just within 6 months, they were able to recruit 250,000 to, help quell the civil war. And now we have a larger number of a population, and yet we have less than we had at the time. So he's asking the federal government to look into employing more soldiers. And he says whether the strategies they are deploying is right or wrong, the manpower that's available cannot quell this fight. So they need to get more people into the military. Whatever strategies they want to adopt, if they don't have enough manpower, they can't do that. Then he talked also about agriculture, said we need to now start diversifying. We have to remove all the focus on just the oil. We should look at our rubber, our cocoa, our palm oil. He mentioned quite a number of them. And also the seedlings that these farmers get, that all over the world, agriculture has moved away from just the local type of farming that we are still doing here. And so government must invest in the seedlings that the farmers are getting and everything. It was just a message packed,
Okay, so the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has in his New Year message said that Nigeria is possible in spite of the numerous yet to be fulfilled aspirations of citizens. In his New Year message, he said that Nigeria is the only country we have deeply endowed but lacking good leadership over the years. We'll continue to seek new Nigeria, and that Labour will continue to adjust to his new role as the main opposition party. And I'm sure Nigerians are looking for a good opposition to stir up good conversations in national politics. So he's saying he expressed his heartfelt and warmest greetings to all Nigerians. He prayed God to bless them richly and grant them their good heart's desires in New Year and beyond. Okay. Final paper for this morning, Vanguard. Let's find a story we've not taken at all. Nigeria too important to be left in hands of transactional politicians. Over 3,000 megawatts, Emiat asks Tinubu to wade into Mambila power dispute. 2024 APC mom as PDP LP dismissed Tinubu's address as hollow. The truth about Biafra and its so-called indigenous people, says leaders a reader's right to respond. Plato, God free Nigeria from these horrors, Pope Francis says. And Tinubu signs 2024 budget of 28.78 trillion into law. Oh, I didn't even take the major headline. Plato attacks. Okay, groups slam Chief of Army Staff on why Nigerians can't bear arms. Okay, so I think we're taking most of the stories here.
Yeah, I have the Mambila story. Okay. The Emir of Mambila, His Royal Highness Dr. Shehu Baju II, has written a letter dated December 18 to the President. He titled it The Mambila Hydropower Project and Final Resolve 40 Years On. Is on this letter generally just talking about the benefits that the project would have brought to Nigeria, but for these litigations and all these unresolved issues. I remember when the former Minister for Works was on the show, he talked about how the litigation would stall a project for years, and the opposition would have gone and say it's a 3 years contract. I don't know why they used 10 years to do it, but you're in court because of all of these things, and taking court orders stalling progress for long. So he's asking that the President should turn his lenses on the Mambila Hydro project and, you know, try as much as possible to resolve this, because 50,000 jobs, skilled jobs are possible from this. 3,500 megawatts of electricity is possible from this. The northern region will be boosted economic-wise from so many benefits that, you know, would have come from it, and hopefully once and for all.
Just potential sitting
idly. And it's also annoying when it's an external contractor holding us back. We must always tidy up. Whatever contracts we are giving, entering into all these people bringing their money to invest, must always be protective of us. We can't be sitting 40 years on, you know, and somebody is in court holding a country back.
I think that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Why put yourself through the stress of pounding when you have Native Tastemaker, Deli Dawa?
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ikechukwu, Sunday Okonkwo.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Person I want in my space. If you're not intentional, don't even bother. Don't do relationship. Just do your one-off, your flings, if that's what works
for you. So hold on a second. So you think love is enough?
Love is
keep a person.
Love is enough to keep a person.
Can you be with a guy that doesn't satisfy you sexually?
That's what I'm saying. You must have gone past all that. I mean, I'm.
Thanks for staying with us. So our hot topic today is about a father's love. Because a lot of times we see father-daughter relationships, and many people admire it, some criticize it. So we've heard stories where daughters refuse to go to their father's funeral or have negative things to say about their fathers. Others are so close to their father, they're almost like their girlfriends in the sense that they're constantly loving and hugging their fathers. But the few videos on social media in the last few days has caught the attention of Nigerians because we've seen different dimensions of a father-daughter relationship, and it begs for conversation. So one of the videos saw a girl, hopefully, I think she was getting married or something like that. She was wearing white on her wedding day, and she was admiring her father, you know, patting him on the back, patting him on the butt, talking about how good he looks, you know, asking him that he hasn't even complimented her. And people just frowned at how she was, you know, patting her father on his butt, and people just thought that was didn't look very healthy. But in another video, we saw a father carrying his daughter on her wedding day. He was crying profusely, and you could see the emotions and how connected they were and how broken he was that she was about to leave. And, you know, it just brings back the memory of how a relationship of father should be. But in your view, do you think it's too much? Because some would say, that was a bit too much of crying. I mean, your father, why are you crying like that? That's a bit extreme. What are your thoughts on this relationship between father and daughters? Call us on the numbers on the screen, 081-0764 1679 09024 163440. You can tweet to us at TVC Entertainment using hashtag YourViewTVC, YourView on TVC. We'd like to hear your thoughts. So, ladies, you've seen the video. I'm not sure our viewers have, but I'm sure our producers will probably run it shortly so that our viewers can see the videos we're referring to. But before the video comes on, let me hear your own thoughts. Let's start with the video of the woman patting her father, you know, around, and people just felt that was a bit too much.
A little much.
So what do you think, Nima?
So I am a daddy's girl. I did a lot of play with my dad. In fact, I never used to call him daddy. I used to call him D. And it was like a pet name for my boyfriend I didn't have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so whenever I come D, I get my money. D, you know.
For
and
real?
when we're gossiping, we'll do pow. We gossip about my mom. I'm like, short people, you know, because my mom is a very petite woman. So I had a very unique relationship, and I'm looking at the video, and I saw the other one crying this morning at the daughter's wedding, and I just had flashbacks. Had such a, you know, I will be coming even as an adult in university, they're coming in, and the first thing I do is jump on my dad's laps. I don't even remember. I don't think I can remember. I can count on one finger of one hand the number of times I knelt to greet my father. I can't count the number of times I hugged and kissed my dad. Even as he died, I laid over him, I pecked him, I hugged him tight. That's the kind of relationship I have. So when I see this girl, I do it to my dad. I'm like, hey, fine boy, you see hyping. You need to see one Saturday in the morning, you say, fine boy, see dressing, see your cap on point, bears on point, daddy, you fine. And I'll be saying, spray me money for hyping now, you know. So I had that flash.
You can relate to the connection.
I can relate.
Let me come. I'll come back to you. Let me come to the ladies. I don't want to go first. BC.
Okay. So we all know that a daughter's first hero is the father, right? And if all things are right, that man would be the hero for the rest of her life. That daughters and fathers have a very special connection that sometimes the wife, the mother, would be jealous, you know. You know, and it happens, we understand that. But at the same time, and I also appreciate the sort of relationship that you have with your father. I have a bit of that too with my father. And I sometimes I jealous my children, the two girls, they are close to their father. I see the hugging, I see the pecking, I see the playing. At the same time, there are some boundaries they cannot cross. Because in my place, it is seen as a taboo. You cannot hit your father's bum in the name of bonding. There's nothing like that. It is wrong, and we must call it out. Because, you know, I remember we had a conversation here sometime about a young woman who wore the bra and pants and she was dancing, and her son. Yeah, please. They are completely different. Please, they are the same. The only difference is this one wore pants and bra, this one wore a complete outfit. The tapping on the bum is the same. It's the same. So let's, you know, I always say, let's not be cherry picking the one that suits us to judge some matters. What is wrong is wrong. And I know that for some people or for some cultures, some things are not really, they're not taboo. Like I remember the first time I came to the West and I saw how some things were done. I'm like, this cannot happen in my place. As a matter of fact, if this happens, you will be excommunicated or, you know, cast away. But it was a part of life for the people in the new environment. And I sort of adjusted as time went by. But we need to separate it. Because I remember, even in the scriptures, when it comes to sexuality, body parts and all of that, even God frowns at it. There was a part of the Bible where a father, Noah, was, you know, drunk, and the children, some of them saw him naked. And they were cursed for that, and they were laughing, and they were cursed for that. So if that can happen, we need to put some boundaries in setting. So play the play you want to play, but you can't have access to. And if we had seen the man, so when I saw that video, let me not go too extreme. When I saw that video, I was like, has something been happening between these two people? Because I didn't get the vibe and I didn't get the energy.
Okay, let me come to you, Mariam, because when you see some certain relationships, because when Nima was talking, I could almost relationship connection. There's some father that just cool with their girls like that. So did you see anything suspicious in that, or do you feel that, listen, this is just a very platonic relationship with father-daughter?
Well, when I first saw the video, when he got to the hitting on his bum, immediately the prim proper part of me was like, oh, no, that's not acceptable. That's your father's private area. I mean, from when you're growing up as a child, we say to you, there are some special areas. Everybody has it. Everybody, you know. So I thought it was quite cringy. But you know, the picture that Nima painted, so I can understand. The only understand is I can understand how you may get carried away, especially was such a momentous day. You know, it was her wedding, and maybe she didn't mean to get to the back and she hit him, but that they got it. I wish they didn't put it on social media because it did not look good. There has to be boundaries. We teach that for not just our children, for us as adults as well. It didn't come across as proper. Also, for me, culturally, even religiously, this is not a sort of interaction that people would commend or encourage. It would be frowned upon. And I agree with BC where she says, it reminds me of the video of the lady who was dancing with her bra and in her undies, and her child was tapping her bum. For me, it's the same sort of scenario. There's nothing wrong in having a cool relationship with your parent. There's nothing, I mean, hailing your father hailing you. People do that, it's fine. But we're just talking of some of the ways that they touch. Imagine also if the words that came out of the mouth, it's because we're so cool, I can even say some things to my father. You know, there are some things, we get to a point where we have to recognize that this is a parent and not a spouse. Do you understand? But this is a child and not your spouse. You know, there has to be boundaries, and that's what this is about.
I'm looking at this video now, and honestly, it looks fairly innocent to me. I mean, because it looked like a girl who's just playing around with her dad. It's possible she wasn't even checking to see if his pampers or something. This guy,
let me put in context what I meant, so that they're not the same. So you have two innocent underage children. You're completely naked. There's a psychology to the kind of abuse that that woman didn't intentionally do. These are two grown, safe adults who feel safe with each other. The touching might not be appropriate to you, but it might not mean an abuse to the dad. She is the safe one. She's his daughter, full grown. Yeah. So,
is it possible she started off as a child?
Thank you. You're taking it off from the top.
I would not touch my father's butt. I never did.
Yes.
But I remember always, my father was a very fit man till he was about 45, 46. And I remember he started losing weight when he got the mobile contract. He moved to Eket. He was now chubby. So he'll come back and be working on his stomach every day. I would say, Daddy, when did you eat? He said, don't like the way they feed us there. I'm getting out of shape. And I used to say, don't worry. You see, this is your big tummy. It's keeping my kids. When I start having children, you will lose your tummy. So you will see me come, what I will do is, I used to comb my hand through his bed. I can remember the feeling. It's so, it was my safest place. No matter how bad my day was, when I get home, and my dad is just minding his sleep, I'll be my hands in his bed. Like, that's how I announce.
It's different.
And I would be tapping his stomach and saying, don't worry, when I start having kids, your tummy will drop. You understand? Your tummy will flatten out. So you can have that bond with any individual. We as friends, we talk about some very personal things because we feel safe around each other. For a long time as an adult, I couldn't go naked in front of another woman. And I grew up with sisters. With my friends, I'm still all covered up. My kids are grown up like that. They're wired like that. They can't even be naked in front of each other, But with time, you feel safe. You do certain things. I'm not excusing what might not be culturally right for your culture. But for these two playful people, they are feeling safe with each other.
Okay, let me go on a quick break.
And that's their family thing.
Let me go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation and open our phone line. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Tasty and delicious cooking to their families around the world to give your meal that totori deliciousness. Ajinomoto, made from sugarcane. Visit ajinomoto.com.ng.
Ajinomoto.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this father-daughter relationship, and while you guys were talking, I was trying really hard to fight back my own emotions because I didn't have that. I know my father loved me, no doubt about that, but there was no mushy, touchy, touching how. It's like, it's one of those, you're hearing the sound of his car, you flee, and he comes into the house, goes, you don't come upstairs into the room unless he calls for you. And you just kind of just walk in and stroll into your daddy's room and say, hey, daddy, touching his beard, are you okay? Unless he calls for you. So when he calls for you, and you stand behind your hands behind your back, and you don't look into his eyes. You know, he was a very, very strict person. So when I'm hearing these kind of mushy stories about father, I'm thinking, okay, it's shocking. Like, okay, you guys have some really interesting dads. But just
parents usually allow. My father had 5 girls. I had that relationship of touchy.
Yes.
The others, they have their own type of relationship.
Yes.
My eldest sister, I cannot imagine how to touch my dad. She doesn't even know like to. She just be looking.
Yes.
And everybody had their own type of relationship.
Right?
Yeah.
For me, I'm a cuddly person. I will cuddle. He wants to sleep. Daddy, I want to sleep here. I can't sleep in my room. Get out. Okay. So I grew up full adult sleeping. You just see me every night crawling into his bed.
I can believe
you
that.
Crawl into your father.
To his bed.
I don't think I ever slept in my father's bed. Only unless
Even
except
after I
maybe
had kids.
he's not around. Maybe he traveled or something. Then my mom and I can then sleep on this bed or something. But for you to be invited to my mother's room, there must be something. Something must happen. So conversations are in the living room. His bedroom is fairly private. You know. So the point is that now would I touch my father? I touched my father's butt when he was ill and I had to take
him. Cleaning up.
That's cleaning up. Yeah. Yes, that's when I was cleaning him up and taking care of him. Then he was very old, but not as a young kid. What? You get a slap on your face. Easy. You know, but I love that relationship, and I would like us to also understand it.
No, don't love the butt.
I love. No, you see, I don't want to say that there can be a way you're so comfortable with somebody where you feel so
safe.
Maybe the hand went there. Maybe it wasn't intentional, as she had said.
She has said that.
But
let me
there's
ask what you're saying. There's a way you play with someone, you forget yourself, and it starts leading to disrespect unknowingly. You did not plan to disrespect the person.
Friendship, they must be
no, hold on now. Wait now, hold on. If he was out there with his chiefs and he looked good, and the daughter came to, daddy, you're looking good, and then touched the bomb, and other people are seated there, how do you think they will interpret it? So to the dad, it may not be disrespect because this is how we play. But to other people who are elders in that place, like, you don't do that.
They will correct
And that's also why they will correct her at what age?
But somebody was recording, so she's comfortable enough to do that because
does it make it right?
The person recording did not, obviously, I don't think the person knew that this was where it was headed. The person was just recording a father and daughter, interacting. For me, I think the emphasis here is not about the relationship between them. We're pointing out that there should be boundaries. That boundaries should be drawn and respected. And it should be drawn for children, for adults as well, whoever it is that you interact with. We understand and admire the beautiful relationship that father and daughter have, but we need to also understand when it's inappropriate. And that was an inappropriate gesture. That's all I'm saying.
So let me also add the conversation of the other father. So we're going to watch the video of
just
the other
as a different before you do that. So this is the translation of what the conversation they were having. So she goes, "Are you the one getting married? See, as you are looking fine. Turn around, let me see you well. Child, you're so fine." That's she's saying to him. And he answered, "Not if my money, you know, say money in my pocket. That's why you're touching me now. You want to lift my pocket, Let me see you. You don't even get pocket safe." Then he laughs. He says, "Let me see you," to her, that you don't even get pocket safe, believing that, as a daughter, touching. Then he said, "But you didn't even tell me that I'm looking beautiful." He then says, "Okay, you're always beautiful."
So he touched the bum to find the pocket.
Okay,
Same thing.
Possible now.
The same thing.
I can check if there's a pocket at the back pocket.
It's even disrespect.
See, if you have not been in these shoes, you won't know this thing. When I want to lift money from my father, I will do like this.
I lift it when it's closer.
I will do like this. I will take out his wallet and be like, "Daddy, this is a wallet, fine." He'll say, "Nima, don't take my money." This was a regular conversation. "Nima, I already gave you your allocation for the week. Don't take my money." I will be like, "Daddy, wait first. Wait first. I don't lift this money."
No, please.
I want to see the video again.
Let me take Aisha as the colleague. Good morning, Aisha. Thanks for calling your live. Good morning, Aisha. You there?
Yes. Okay, good morning. I just want to contribute to the
Please
topic.
do.
Honestly, I wanted to call earlier, but I just wanted to watch the video first.
Okay.
To see what really happened. Really, what I saw in that video, morally, traditionally, it is not right.
Thank you, my sister.
I believe that girl grew up touching her father's private part before this. Because I see no reason why, if you watch that video well, you'll see a place where she even lifted up his shirt. That shows that she has been doing this right from smaller age. Like me, I did not have this father-daughter relationship that much. But then, I remember when I do makeup my dad will admire me. He'll be calling me, Inya. Dad is appreciating what God has blessed him with. But I dare not. I dare not go to him and touch his tummy or his private part. That is why it is called a private part. Thank you very
much, Aisha.
Did you see that video?
Let me just quickly say,
it was
we've
too
seen these
smacks.
things.
It wasn't looking for money. There's a way you search and there's a way you do like this.
Is there
It
a
was
wallet
too
in your
tapping.
pocket?
Yes.
She didn't group him. She smacked him.
Yes.
She touched.
we're not
Wait,
separating it.
let me
Yes, there's
finish.
grouping, yeah, it's
There's grouping. I'm trying to say plus conversation. Was she out to abuse? Was she inappropriately intentional?
Based on the conversation.
Based on the conversation, she touched his pocket. There was a pocket on the top she touched, and then when she touched it, she pulled it down. We see what we want to see.
Now said, don't go and take my money.
Don't go and take my money. Don't be touching me to take my money.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, all right. So
please,
everybody, let me just
wrap it up.
I would say, right, with videos like this and, situations like this, when we talk about them, really the intention is what is most important. And we do not know the intention unless we speak to these two people.
Yeah.
But because we're a talk show and we're, viewing a video, touching someone's private part is not appropriate.
Yes, it's right.
And that sort of touch is usually seen between people that are in intimate relationship, like spouses or lovers. So that looked like one of those sort of behaviors. If it's something that they do, it's good for them because that's their relationship. But it does not look good and it does not send the right message.
Okay, so now let's bring the other video where a father and a daughter. So can you also insinuate that there's something behind that
was
about
crying so
hugging
much.
because he loved her so much and there's something that's been happening before because now she's going to now as we were discussing father-daughter relationship. Let's watch that video. A father and a daughter. See how he's rubbing her shoulders. He's really, really rubbing her shoulders.
His hand is not going to the back.
He's crying, So if we want to see this as father-daughter love, why is it difficult for us to see the other as father-daughter love? This is
where their hand is.
Where are they
Let's put
holding
it in
now?
context.
I see the mother said the mother is just there.
Yes.
You know?
So what we're talking about right now is where your hand goes.
He's kissing her hand now.
Yes. That's kissing.
Yeah.
Don't you
Her
peck?
fingers
You peck
now.
your kids. Now your kids peck you. So you're hugging, that's okay. Your hand
This
did
is
not
a
go to your
Conley
private
family.
area.
She hug her mother
Calm
too.
down now. Your hand did not go to a private area.
Not
That's what we're.
touch
That's the
private
only
part.
thing that was wrong in that video. The bonding we saw was great, right? But it's just where the hand went to that we're saying, draw the boundaries. Because no matter how I play with my son, if his hand goes there,
hand
brother, we will pause in that play and I will address it.
Exactly.
So that he doesn't grow to become a man tomorrow and he sees me, hugs me, and he touches me. And people are now wondering, were they doing it before? There are some things you just
Go and
stop.
touch his friend's mother's bum bum.
We play, we hug. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, and there are actually boys that do that.
There's some people
that
there's
we're
some people
hating
that
her.
like your
playing.
situation. A father single-handedly raised his daughter, and
He
they
did.
got that close.
He was betting me
This is
till at what age?
Yeah, so there could be situations where you got
Now
to
smack
points
his
where
bum.
you are just out.
No, never. Because I knew there were boundaries. And so when he baited me to a point, he said, you know you're a big girl now. He now stopped entering my room. He stopped coming to the bathroom. He just understood that I was already growing and maturing. We kept that. But we're close. My wedding day, my father cried. Though he didn't weep profusely like this, but there were tears running through, running down his eyes. And, he was going to miss his best cheerleader, his cook, and everything. So he felt that emotion, and when he prayed for us, you could feel that emotion. It didn't take away the fact that we don't used to play. We used to play, but there were boundaries to the play. Because I was raised to understand some things that you don't do. Not just for you also, but we must pay attention to the people around us. We can't just do everything because
Let me take this call from Mary. She's been holding for a while. Good morning, Mary. Thanks for calling. Oh, I'm so sorry to be you.
Sorry, Mary. One instance happened in my house growing up. My aunties, their grandmothers, one stayed in Ibadan, one in Lagos here, and they visited coincidentally at the same time. And as they approached their elder brother, they were on their knees. And I come in, jogging around. I pecked my dad, and sat on his legs. And my auntie said, I will not put up with this. Nima, you can't grow up like this. And I saw him, he was quiet. They lashed everything. He didn't say a word. I was properly lashed. Because I know they look outside their enemies. My father will be giving sermons at a public event. I will throw the hadith and say, that's not the verse. So. As in, I had no limit. And so my auntie finished that one in Ibadan. She tear me apart that day. And when she left, my father says, you have been schooled on tradition. you're still my daughter. So special bonds are between two people.
Don't show us outside.
She might not have that bond with her mom. When I got married, my father didn't even shed a tear. Just sat throughout, lonely, looking at me. And then I said to him, who will fall sick first? You fall sick, I fall sick. We were betting. And then he fell sick like 2 days after. I was like, oh, you fell sick, I'm not sick. And then I fell sick like a week after. That's what we used to determine who missed who.
Yeah.
That relationship, I wish everybody would have it. But in a lifetime, you might not have it with two. You might even have it with your spouse.
Yeah.
It might be just one person. It might be your grandmother. Just anybody.
Chika from Mina. Thanks for calling, Chika. No, the hip party.
No, it's not hip. It's not hip. That's bomb.
Where's the hip at the back?
Pockets.
That's not pocket.
She was looking for pockets.
Go ahead, Chika. Go ahead, Chika.
Yeah, so that's the product dress.
Allow Chika.
Yeah. Hello?
Thank you so much.
Go ahead, Chika.
You know, the thing you were talking about, what you do, and then your father said you were school traditionally. And I still love you. While it was happening, he did not interrupt because he knew you needed to hear traditionally. Also, you know, I find it a bit interesting because you're also a Muslim, a hijabite as well, and your father an imam. Usually with Islam, you're more conservative in how you physically show each other. So that was your personal relationship with your father, but out there when he was, you know, preaching, I don't think he would have expected you to.
You know, Nima.
Yeah.
And my younger sister too would cross. You know, when you go into a mosque, the women are on one side and there's a wall. My younger sister will now climb it and shout, "Daddy!"
Yeah. How old were you?
No, she was even then about 8 years old. She was more.
Yeah, there's something also that we expect of children. We allow children.
In Islam, you're supposed to be kinder to your kids. The Prophet ﷺ said to someone who was so cold that his kids would enter the house, and when he enters, his kids will be separated from the wall. That I don't know why you can't show love to your kids, and he would peck his own daughters. So it is encouraged Islamically. Yeah. But when we come out to formalities, we see certain different things. So in my house, for instance, my father would insist on knocking on the door to approach his daughter's room. We had a girl's room. It's because of our privacy. And when you're in the toilet, he will ask, you say knock 3 times. I'll say that is for the outside door. Say knock 3 times. I still didn't knock. Even the day before he went into hospital before he passed, I climbed into the bed. I slept. We slept, we wake up. Because your daughters must feel safe with you.
And
now,
yet
it might still be very inappropriate because I never could smack his bum because there was still privacy, encouraged growing up. But I knew that I said, I climbed. I did not even touch bum.
Do you know what? I want to
all over.
Yeah, you have to go on a break.
Oh, okay.
I was just come back. We'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Try the improved on the chicken cube for great chicken taste and aroma.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still having this conversation.
Yes, I was trying to end it with, you know what, the story you even shared of your father, of how he even gave you privacy in your rooms and in the bathroom, just for me, further, you know, highlights what I've been trying to say, you know, concerning this very close relationship with father and children, is that even though you had this close relationship, he still understood your privacy. And in this case, it had to do with a private room or a private place that you used. And so if you put that also to private parts of the body, you know, you understand that there are boundaries and there are things that you cannot do. There are also things that you expect of children, or you allow children, not expect of children. Because they are children, they are innocent, they're still learning, you know, but an adult child or an adult, you know, two adults acting in that way, going that far, for me, I think it's unacceptable. And as I said earlier, yes, I'm not a Muslim, but I know for sure that, you know, Islamically, some of these things will be termed haram, where, you know, you are not respectful of another person's privacy and boundaries. So that's all I was trying to say.
Let me take this call from Timothy. Good morning, Timothy. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead.
Oh, finally I got you today. I'm really happy to get you.
To have you.
I love your show every morning. I'm watching people from Lokoja.
Thank you, sir. Welcome to the show.
Yes, yeah, thank you. You are doing a very great job. I want to really comment on this program this morning. Sincerely, is a wonderful one. I want to first of all take it from the angle of my little girl for 4 years. My daughter. If you see the kind of bond we have together, this little girl who touched my beard, I will not be removing her hand from my beard. She will jump on my head, you know, fly over. She likes sleeping with me. In fact, it's like she and her mom, they were cataract. So I begin to see from the program people were saying now that there's definitely a daughter to a father. There's really a strong bond with two of them that at the end of the day, you know that these people are very, very close. They can share anything common. You know, sometimes we bring culture too much into some things to do. It doesn't even make some things free concerning a father to a daughter.
Yeah.
So what that lady is doing to the dad is very normal. Like, I don't see anything that culture can be restricted too much. Like in my own place, I have a very strong culture. I'm a Ghana by tribe, and we have very strong culture. But due to what I saw there was no.
And they had to give him a towel. He was really cleaning his face. You know, there was not the idea and prayer for a father to escort his daughter to her husband. Yes, but he was really crying. So that's for a father. He's talking to the son. Yeah. That was his son-in-law. She said, "She's my life." Did you hear that? She's my life. Oh. Just said that. She's my life. Yeah. Oh my goodness. He's connected to now this kind of love. I know. I don't know how to even start.
No, I just think he's a very emotional kind of guy. Yeah. That's all. He's emotional. And I am sure they are used to him. Yeah. You know, there are some, you've never gone for some friend's wedding. Before the wedding, they'll tell you, my mother is very dramatic. Yes. Or my daddy is the emotional one. He's going to cry here. And then when he starts crying, everybody's looking because we've already been told. You know, so I just think that's how he expresses himself. He must express himself very emotionally. And in this case, it brought tears to his eyes.
Let me come to it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and you know, seeing her trying to, you know, she was comforting him. See her mom on the other side. I'm sure she was like, "Oh God, this bar started again," you know. You know, so he's just, there was no inappropriateness there. It just shows that this is a person who is very emotional, and we love to see that. You know, we also come from a very conservative society, and here we're discussing how far you can go. But for me, this was appropriate, this was decent, and this was okay, given the circumstances.
I was going to come to BC because she's the coach amongst us. And I remember there was a video where I think it was a Korean or a Japanese father who was at the altar with his daughter. And he told his son-in-law to be. He said, "Listen, if my daughter does anything to you,
don't to send her.
Please, just bring her back to me. Don't hit her. Don't do anything. If you're done, if you're tired of the marriage, I am giving her to you right now. But if there's any issues with her at all, please bring her back home to me." You know, I don't want wahala. I'm telling you here at the altar. Now, there are fathers like that. And there's a father like this who will cry. Now, my question to you is, as a coach, do you encourage this kind of do you encourage this kind of relationship? Because sometimes men find it difficult to be this broken
with their wives.
With their wives, not even wives, even with their children, because they want to have that stern father figure. I am a controller. I'm the one in charge. I want you to fear me. I want you to be scared of me. So I don't want to express my deepest emotions. You know I love you. I'll provide everything you need, but I'm not going to cry on your wedding day. I'm going to be macho. So in your view, do you think men should be allowed to be this expressive of their love of their daughters? Or, you know, we need to see them as that father figure of they are in charge, they're the warriors, they are the defenders of the nation, of the, you know, of the family, and they shouldn't be seen broken, kind of crying like that.
I think that was the definition the society gave to men initially when life started, because they were seen to be the brutes. They had more muscle power. The body build is different from that of a woman, and they are there to protect. And so they had to put up that fierceness so that when you come to my territory, you know I'm the man and all of that. But the world is changing, and what we advise as coaches is that you must allow your emotions to flow. That's what makes you a human being. There was a time there were studies on why a lot of men were dying. There was a lot of depression because they didn't have an outlet to share their emotion. When we're raising our boys, we tell them, boys don't cry. My son is the crier in the family. As a matter of fact, I'm suspecting that when my daughters are getting married, my husband will cry like this because he's very in tune with his emotions, right? So it's healthy. And then it helps you also not to start having some of the ailments and illnesses that do not have names, because you are able to express your emotion. So there's no limit to, of course, we don't want you to go wailing and rolling on the floor, right? But if you are feeling like letting the tears flow, let it flow. After it flows, it will stop. If you're feeling like, you know, talking about it, talk about it. Express your emotions. You are a human being. Crying is not just left for women. Men can also cry. Men also have feelings. And the strength of a man, especially in these modern times, is your ability to be the man and institute the boundaries and, you know, do what you're supposed to do as a man, and also let down your emotion, and it doesn't make you less of a man. That's what makes you a complete human being, and that's what a lot of people are looking for. We no longer want that man that once he enters the house, all the children are running into the toilet to go and hide because daddy is home. That is not it. So this man is doing well. Well done.
Oh, I feel like crying. Let me take Mariam. Good morning, Mariam. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning, Mariam. I'm a first time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, Miriam Nakwana.
Lapia, Nakwana. I was wondering.
Lapia, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Busy, you finished my card, my airtime.
Oh. She'll send you another credit, don't mind her.
That father-daughter bond, I think people are understanding it.
Okay.
I feel when a daughter is much younger, that bond is there. But there is an age as a girl when you reach that spanking of bomb between a father and a daughter, please, is a no-go area. Please.
Yeah.
That's my contribution.
Thank you very much, Mariam.
We normally call you my mother's children because she's a die-hard. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Let me come to Mariam and Nima on this, because I got a tweet from somebody saying that, good morning, ladies. I lost my relationship due to the way, in a manner, my wife relates with her father. The father was the first to call her, and she calls him in the morning and the last in the evening.
Whoa.
Sometimes she might not even call or check on me, but she'll always check on the father. Now, let me come to, when is it too much? Where do you have to set the boundaries? Because we see this man crying and wailing, telling his son-in-law, she's my life. I mean, he's crying. She's saying, telling his son, she's my life. You know, doesn't take care of her. But this is the kind of father, it's possible that in the morning, first after honeymoon, hi there, how are you? Are you okay? He's likely to call her in the morning. At night, check up on her to make sure she's okay. So this is the kind of father that is likely to be keeping tabs on her movement. Or maybe she'll go to him, oh, daddy, he wants to buy a house with the money.
What do you think?
I want to get it going. She has that connection.
Yes, she does.
So,
maybe.
We don't, I'm not saying this is, I'm just saying, just in case, that kind of relationship. So, do you think husbands would appreciate this kind of relationship between father and a daughter so close that this guy is saying he's having a problem?
God forbid the one that will not appreciate it. Why would I say that? Okay, so my dad had a best friend, Prof, is in OAU, still lives there. He had only 2 children. And while we were about jam age, trying to get into school, we lost the son, the elder one. And so till today, he has only his daughter. And he calls her Yami. Yeah, we call, you know, we grew up seeing that love. And he's Christian. He's even deacon and pastor and all of that. But he loves his daughter deeply. And imagine somebody were to marry that girl and say there was one relationship too much to your long. Where did you fall from? It's a mistake. You are a mistake.
But now she has moved to her husband.
No.
So
Her husband's
cleave,
priority.
cleave.
What you do as a man is join in that love so that he knows he has earned another child.
That's fun.
Don't come and separate something beautiful because of your jealousy. I had Imran. All of you know Imran and Yala Olu's bond. Till he was 2, I kept wondering, now me born this speaking. I suffer way. And Imran will be sick and he will raise his hands from me and go to her. If I want to give him drugs, he will be doing YOLO. And there was a day I was taking him out. I put him on the driver's side. I had to hold him. He was like, save me. I'm your mother. Save me. And the woman was like, hey, cheese balls. I was like, excuse me. Everybody knows how I suffered to have this child. And that day when I got to my mother's house, I was livid at beating him in the car. My mom was saying, Nima, you're going to lose him. He's safe with her. Earn it. He's 7 and now with the cuddle. I had to go to her house, bring the plates. Imran will not wear slippers I buy for him. But I will go and buy exclusive exotic things. It's Yala Olu's plates and cover and spoon. Yeah. Till today, the old neighbor knows. He doesn't take Coke from PET bottles. It's from glass bottles because that's what she gives him. I don't this. It's only how she lives. Yeah. I had to learn it. I can understand the Ijebu.
They had a soul contract, darling.
Thank you.
So give me high five on that.
And destroy a beautiful thing.
I like that's powerful.
I earned my place to my own son that I birthed. He had bonded with somebody, and I had to earn it. Watch his feeding, speak the language, praise him the way she does. Me too, I have to do. I did everything she did, word for word.
I love that, Nima.
So don't
that's
destroy anything beautiful.
Because that's another issue that many homes have. And this man is destroyed their relationship. Yeah. So what he should have done is earned it. Yeah. Where his father has. What
you to call that?
So for me, that is a healthy relationship and a healthy outcome. That you understand. So the first thing is you want a balance, but you also understand that you need to earn that sort of love and attention that she gives her father.
Understanding her background.
Yes, or whatever. I mean, you're in a relationship with someone who's shown extra love or even commitment to someone else. The first thing is not to come in and scatter. The best thing to do is come in and see how you can fill in the gaps and then be so indispensable that you are taking away. I mean, women who are married in a polygamous home, they will tell you, the one that comes and wants to scatter does not get a lot of love. But the one that comes and is nice and finding her way would eventually get the love. So you can do that. But what if we're talking about such a bad situation that even if you've done all that you need to do, that relationship between father and daughter trumps the relationship between husband and wife.
Mother and son.
Or mother and son trumps the relationship between the spouse, and it happens. And so, it's easier to understand when a mother-in-law and a husband are in a relation, seem to be so close. We call them all sorts of names, mommy's boy. The mother-in-law is not allowing me to enjoy my husband. But when it's the other way around, we're just thinking, a father and daughter, that's such an important relationship. But if it has the same negative effects on your spouse and your marriage, then you must put in the work that we always say to husbands and mothers-in-laws to put in, which is understand that you have a first commitment also, that's your spouse. And then let the father or mother on the outside understand, this is my husband or this is my wife, and I owe my love and commitment to this marriage. So sometimes your demands from me, for my time, may not come as you want it. You need to put that into consideration. The person in the middle has to be seen to respect the spouse at home as well, who may say, I've tried to earn your love, I've tried to earn your trust, but it's affecting me so much. What are you going to do? Don't just say, you just end my love. What are you doing also to make sure that that person is comfortable?
Let me take Elder Yusuf to hold it for her. Good morning, Elder Yusuf. I'm sorry for keeping you. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Go ahead, sir, please. Good morning, sir.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
I want to just say something about the two videos. The first thing I want us to know is that private parts or sexuality has to do with a mindset. It's a thing of the mind. Now, in a relationship between a father and a daughter, they don't feel the sensitivity of private organs the way a husband and wife will feel. Fathers don't feel it at all. You hug your daughter directly and there is no any chemistry. It's like you are touching a non-living thing. So, but what is wrong with the video is that it has been made public. That's for one. It should be a private thing. Then for the second video that the man was crying, I want to say it this way. At a point in your life, your daughter takes over the role of her mother. She starts showing concern, giving you food, putting your bathing water, and doing certain things. It was actually the mother that trained her like that because she's going to start her own home. But the father now became used to the daughter playing the role. So anytime she's going, he's feeling as though his world is collapsing. For me as a person, I was thinking of my daughter before I even picked a wife. I was thinking of how my daughter will look like. It was part of what guided my selection of a wife.
Wow.
So anytime I am seeing my daughter, I'm seeing a modern version of my wife.
True.
And then it makes me to love her even more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me go to a short break. When we come back, we can share this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes.
Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen.
Thanks for staying with us. I would like to continue this conversation from where Mariam and Nima left this off, because when it comes to mother-in-law issues, it has become a major prayer point in churches, major prayer points in everywhere, even in mosque. People are talking about, what they call them, Yoko issues. People talk about it as if it's some kind of a plague that sets in once you enter marriage. But from what you said, is that when you come in and you see there's a bond between a son and his mother, coming in with the mentality of, listen, I am now in charge. This is now my territory. Mommy, stay out of our lives. Give us, and they make it so as if it's my home. But what you said is that you must earn that space. But why don't we see it as earning a space when it comes to mother-in-law issues? We're asking to earn a space when it comes to father-daughter. Earn that privilege to be in that relationship. But mother-in-law is very close to her son, which she raised by herself, and they are very close. You are the daughter that's come in. You don't want to earn it. You want to take authority because it is your home. Why is it different?
So let me respond to that. I don't see any difference. It's just the sexes that swap, right? And my own case was so peculiar because it was not just mommy's boy, it was parents' boy. It was mommy and daddy. They were involved in everything. And when I came, I had to first of all understand the dynamics. I didn't have that dynamics from where I was coming from. I was raised to be independent, make my decisions without having to bounce it off anybody for input, right? And then whatever consequences come out of it, I go on with it, right? But he was raised in a place where they had to consult. They would talk to each other, you know, I'm thinking of doing this, I'm thinking of doing it. Also, because he's a banker, his father was a banker, so they follow the same, so he has his career path and he has his experiences as well that he taps from.
Yeah.
So he would ask the questions and, you know, and for every decision, for every property, for everything we had to do at the initial stage, he would bounce off his parents. So I had to, first of all, understand the dynamics. And because I was...
Initially, you didn't like it?
No. It had nothing to do with like or not. It just had, it was something that I admired. I didn't have that coming. And when I saw it, I admired and I tapped into it. Until today, my father-in-law will say, he brags with me, like he has never seen a daughter-in-law that played so much as a daughter, even till yesterday that we were in their place to eat and all of that. But I don't know how I understood what to do, but I just knew that. And also my saving grace was, he was man enough to take a stand for the decisions that we take together. So if he brings a matter to me, he puts me in his face in such a way that he won't do anything without consulting me, his wife, right? We would have agreed, and then we now together present it to mommy and daddy. And that was because he did that for me. So I've seen a situation that the man was not strong enough to face the parents when they say, don't do this. And then he will rely on what the parents had given him to do and ignore his wife. That's where the problem comes in. When some parents don't even know how to let go of control. So when I came initially, my mother-in-law was scared. She knew that he loved me, and she was scared that he would stop loving her and she told me to my face, oh, it's not you have collected all the love now. He just put me in one part. I said, no, mommy, I can't collect the love. He has love for you. So I had to make her feel like, mommy, you are our mommy now. We love you together, right? It took me a while, but I was able to get there. And that was because I had a backing of my husband, that when the chips are down, he will put his nuclear first before he's extended. Some people don't have that, and that's why women complain when they do. Aside from
that's the role the husband
has to play.
Yes.
So you see, men can detach. They can love their daughters and still allow family. But women, we are emotional. We take control. We take territory, you know. And at some point, a woman feels competitive. I handled the custody issue once. And the woman came, like Omugo, she's Yoruba. The daughter-in-law was having a baby in the hospital. She just had the baby like less than 2 years. So, you know, immediately getting pregnant, and she then had this crisis where they had a CS, and that brought her back to the hospital. She wasn't healing. She just sat down there and saying, looking at her daughter-in-law, a mother, and said, don't know where you got this one from. You know? They're just spending money.
But they are wicked people. Just
they're not
no, whether men or women.
This is a woman now thinking my son's finances. She's not thinking my daughter-in-law. You know, she's just going, now wow. And the girl felt so cold.
Why don't we encourage the girls,
you know,
to seek to understand where that woman is coming from first? Don't just judge that can she just come out.
You know, empathy doesn't have that kind of thing. She's almost dying.
So that's what I'm saying.
She's caught. She's on the table. People. She has 2 kids, and you know what she did? She took the older child from the woman and asked on that hospital bed for her son to divorce the woman. So they left with the child. We had to go and do a custody.
That's a wicked person.
But see, so I'm saying,
right.
but if you want to take into context, you say she had a special bond with her child. So my advice is,
But is it possible?
why don't you, as I am
is it
right
possible?
now,
Wait, is it possible that that woman that you're talking about actually does have a special, or did have a special
Wicked
bond with her
people
wife?
are allowed-
And is
with
it
her
possible
son,
with her
that
son?
lost empathy for humanity
But could there
because
be
of it.
could something have led to that? So if I'm coming in, wait now. If I'm coming in as a wife, right, seeking to understand this relationship, if I'm able to fully understand that bond, I will probably interpret that connection differently.
Okay,
I'll
so
not see the mother-in-law as a threat to our relationship.
I want us to also separate this. There are wicked people,
Yes.
and wicked people do only as wicked people do. So if a wicked woman has a special bond with her son, she will
wickedly exhibit
it.
I agree.
Yes.
So you are going to deal with that relationship, and you're going to deal with a wicked person, and how the person always
thank
thinks
you
that
for
way.
landing my point exactly. I gave a sermon. I was supposed to speak on a separate topic, and I got to the event. I saw that they were all elderly mothers. In fact, the whole Asalatu were old women. And I asked them, how much would you like your sons to succeed? Was a general yes. Then what of your daughter-in-laws? Everybody now, slow volume.
Wow.
These are Muslim women.
They are
So I changed
grandchildren's
topic
mothers.
from what was written, and I started to, yes, completely. I started to address that. One of my friends on Radio Nigeria, Abieko FM, was at that event speaking as well. And she was like, Nima, I said,
Yes, so...
I changed topic immediately. One thing I've told myself now that I'm young, my daughter, sadly, is my karma for what I did to my mom, because my mom could not get to my dad except through me. So my daughter now, I have to go through her to get to her dad. My son is that close to me, and I'm already telling myself, at some point in life, I will have to let go.
Yeah,
that's wisdom.
Exactly.
Prepare
So I'll
my
come
mind
back
so
to
I don't
that.
go and
I'll come back to
love
that.
my son and hate his wife. Say, my son can have a Samsung Fold, but his wife must use Nokia.
Let me take this call. Samuel is calling from Benue.
A lot of strength.
Samuel is still there?
Yes.
Okay, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much. In fact, I want to comment briefly on this issue of social bond. Yes. You see, the problem we have in Africa is that we don't want to create for our culture. That is another thing. Then the second is that biblically, when there was a high volume of male spirituality or female, it was when the Lord visited Sodom and Gomorrah and destroyed. And I see nothing wrong anyway to be cordial with your child. Father-daughter relationship is good, but certain boundaries should not be gone, because if you go to certain boundaries, anything can happen. Anything can happen. We have to control emotions. We have that power to control. The devil is always scary, but we have the power to control our emotions.
Yeah.
It is in our midst today that the fathers sleep with their daughters. It is common. We may not know, but it is happening. So we have to be cautious over these issues. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we all need to keep learning if we want better outcomes, right? You will not take the suffering that you were given to in the past, and because they dealt with you, you are waiting for the next daughter-in-law to deal with that person, or next, and that's what we hear sometimes, right? But there was something I noticed with how I was treated. Now, this woman was she's a very smart woman. She quickly understood the dynamics. Okay, this boy loves this girl. And I want this boy to be able to succeed. I want this boy to have peace in his home. I have to love this girl. So that instead of coming to be settling quarrel, mommy said, daughter-in-law said, you are in the middle, you are appeasing this person, you will use that and focus and do your work and grow the family.
You see?
No, hold on. It was tough. It was a decision that she took, and she told me as much. It was tough for her at the time because she had ideas of the sort of wife she wanted for her son. 2 years difference is not much. Oh, she's from this tribe, She had her own biases, right? Which is okay, because coming from her own experiences, it was later on I started hearing her own personal experiences, and I understood where she was coming from. But initially, I didn't hear that. But she now made a decision and said, I really want my son. See, my son is the most important thing to me right now. And I will do anything to make sure that this boy is happy. If it requires me to swallow my pride and love this girl so that this guy can have peace, then so be it. I'm talking about the wickedness now. You can be, if you're a wicked person and there's no hope for you, there's nothing we can do about it. But you can have some character flaws based on where you're coming from.
So let me
change it.
throw in this angle. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of a mother.
Okay.
You're a calm personality. Your natural character is peace and calmness. You fell in love with this crazy guy, and you left him. You know, you had the boldness to leave him, and you raised your son. Maybe you had 2 sons. You raised them by yourself. They grew up, and nobody helped you to raise these kids. Somehow, you traveled abroad. You struggled to run this boy through school. Now he has graduated, and he meets a girl whose character is almost replica of his father, who probably used to beat you up. Maybe the woman is dominating over your son, who you have raised to be a gentleman. But he's attracted to the feistiness of this girl. He just likes her. But you see beyond this feistiness, this kind of girl that was going to slap this boy, she's going to control everything about him. That the man I have raised is likely to enter a marriage that he doesn't even understand it now because he's just 24. He's young. He's in love. The girl is 22 and she's, and as a mother, you want to protect your son. So it's not like you hate the girl. You can be you, but I don't think you're the right person for my son, who I have raised. And I believe, so when I resist some of the things you do, not because I hate you, I just don't think you're the right person for him, because I see beyond what you guys are saying. So in that situation, put yourself in her shoes. She has suffered for this boy to be who he is today.
So there are 2 things. First of all is that she's assuming her feistiness means abuse.
Yeah.
And we understand.
Can be right and she can be wrong.
Yes, and we understand where she's coming from because she's seen a pattern before in another person, and she thinks that may be the case. That's 1. 2 is that unfortunately for her, she's not the one that has to make that decision in the end. The best she can do is advise her son and tell him what the patterns she saw before and what she thinks it may happen here. Okay. And then if he decides, I know what you see, I hear your fears, but this is what I want. And so this is, I've said this before, this is the hardest part of parenting, where you know that there's nothing you can do. Just let go and pray to God. Yes. So there's the people that come in and fight, they're not being wise about it. Yeah. You just end up causing more issues. Now, if it so happens that she was right and she came in fighting, for a long time, her son would not even recognize that woman's bad behavior. They would gang up as our mother that does not want our love to happen. Sometimes you have... So you leave them, hopefully, after giving you advice, and then maybe your son will not have to make a mistake in marriage, when it takes them to marriage. Maybe he will see it before they do get married. But people have made mistakes. They've married people that they're not meant to marry, had children, and then they bounce back. And as a mother, as a parent, you'll be there waiting with open arms, helping.
When they come back. So it's not a warfare that you go to. They say don't go to a water fight with fuel and matches. It's the different fights. This way that you fight this fight. I always say that the love that you fight for the most with patience is the one of the child and their life's journey. You'll be raising your child following one path, and the child will just look you. And you do another. It also happens in their choices of spouses. Yeah. It's a fight you do patiently. You wait the wait. If you need to step out, you step away.
May God help us.
I had a very close cousin, very close. And when he married, I noticed the wife was a bit cold towards me. I didn't want myself to become the subject of their marriage. So I sought my auntie's advice, and she said, Anima, if it is like this, stay away so your cousin doesn't see. And so I became scarce. And my cousin was like, Anima, how can the whole year pass me and you? Because we're both birthday, August mates and all of that. Me and you in this Lagos. Are you in this Lagos? I'll be like, whenever they have something, I'll just hear. I'll be like, I have one event. I will give one Igbo lie. Till the wife sought that friendship. And whenever she came, I was ready. So the warfare is not to be in the face and be advising. It is to wait it out and show
You're
another
not in her
thing.
shoes, though.
No.
He's a child she fed, raised.
No, I understand.
Disciplined,
That's what
trained,
wow, is the most
kept,
you see, the love
protected,
of a mother.
9 months.
Hey,
The
went to
love
his
of a
school
mother
plays
is the
from 10
greatest
months.
sacrifice.
So sometimes it's always easier said than done.
It's even
It's
safer
easier said
for
than
the father.
done.
Let me finish. The love of a mother is the greatest sacrifice, and it doesn't start and stop in the labor room.
For life.
It's a lifetime sacrifice.
Sacrifices.
It's something that is the work you do the most and think, only God will compensate me. And pray for the compensation as much as you want it to be. You pray for that life because your son would always need a life partner.
Yeah.
My advice to the women watching that we come in, because we are women, all of us, we have the mother is a woman like us. All of us have our emotions and our wiring. In Islam, Allah says the paradise of a man is at his mother's feet.
Wow.
If you love him so much and you want to be in paradise with him, help him to earn it.
Let me take this call from Martin. I'll come to you, BC. Good morning, Martin. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, go ahead. You're live.
Please, this angle you people are looking at for father and daughter, that is not the angle we're supposed to look at. The angle we're supposed to look at is the jealous father that does not want any man to come closer to his daughter. That man is the one that we're supposed to look at.
Thank you.
But these two people, they are just, feeling for taking away of their daughter.
Thank you very much, Martin. We'll definitely touch on the jealous father. Let me come to you, BC.
So, have you people ever wondered how Mary felt when Jesus was crucified?
She must have been heartbroken.
More than heartbroken. You raised a son knowing the purpose of the son, that the son will not cross 50, will not give you grandchildren, will not do this. And you had to just watch. There was nothing you could do, but he had to fulfill his part. This is what I tell myself every day, and I tell everyone who cares to listen. Your child is not your own. You are a caretaker. Understand it and know peace. Your child is meant to pass. Your child is a full-blown human spirit meant to pass through you. You are a channel, birthing another spirit to life. That spirit must fulfill its path. And that path may necessarily not agree with you and how you have seen life and what you have wished or prayed for him. I remember a part in the scripture where Samson was given, the parents of Samson, he was told, they were told that he was going to do this and do that and do that. And they gave him an instruction. And they said to avoid the Canaanite women, right?
Yeah.
Don't go there. In that same passage of the Bible, the scripture recorded that unknowing to them, Samson was led to the Canaanites. He had a mission with the Canaanites, but they didn't see that. And the idea of the Canaanites is the fact that they are idol worshippers, avoid them. It was an instruction they heard from God. But God was leading him there because that was where his destiny was. Sometimes in our own limited knowledge, we think we have mapped out what my son is going to be. I've mapped out the kind of wife my son is going to have. And he's a lawyer, he's going to be a doctor, he's going to be going to marry that girl that is very quiet, that is very calm, or that one that is a high flyer. They will build this, they will build that. We do not know. So your wisdom will allow you to understand when you need to let go of your influence and your control over their relationship, over some aspects of his life. Your job will not be guidance. Your job will not be counsel. When they bring matters to you, you would see from where I'm sitting, this and this is what I say. And you go back and you pray. Your job is now on your knees. Not to be saying, no, you must not marry this person. You must not go with this person, because you can never tell.
Okay, I get that.
You have done your job. Know when to understand that I have done my job. The rest is in the hands of the creator of this person. I do not have his manual. The person who gave him this life knows how to direct him. And then you go spiritual and you just pray for whatever. Just settle at that level.
I hear you, BC. You're right. But I've also seen scenarios. You see, when we live in Nigeria sometimes, there's a lot of things where we take things for granted. The family, the relationships we have. But I have a story of a family who, I think it was their son or something, married, he followed his path, married this girl from, is it Cameroon or some country like that. And the father was very distraught, like, which one is Cameroon again? How do I even know? But because the mother was also very exposed, she also had schooled abroad. So I can let him be, he's in love, love. So they did the wedding and everything. Okay, it was Ghana. No, was it Ghana? Somewhere, somewhere not Nigeria.
Countries, yeah.
Anyways, so the father was very reluctant to allow his daughter go to that place because he just felt that there was no covering. And just as he thought, she got there and she was maltreated. She was broken to pieces, and she came back. She ran for after I think about 6 years of marriage. Came back with I think 2 children at the time. And it's part of the fears. Let's now put that in the shoes of a mother. Imagine it was the mother. They said, you cannot marry this person. I don't want to live with that regret that I warned you, this person is not right for you. I'm not want to enter your marriage, but I know that this where you are going is not the right place. It could be a foreigner issue, it could be a cultural issue, it could be a religious issue, it could be a status issue. There are different things, different factors. So if I know for a fact, how therefore do I reconcile that?
Things that you must live through as a Muslim to form your life.
Yes.
They are predestined.
Yes.
Even if she tied rope on her daughter's neck and tied to Shia,
marry Robo woman,
go
there,
stay up on there, experience him, come back, because he needs to be part of her testimony to the place she's going to get to in life. There's nothing that happens to you. The Quran says for every harm that happens to you, there's a reward that lasts destined for you for it. So even if it's the prick of a thorn, as in you touch flower and the thorn pricks you, there's a blessing for it. So to help you understand that in life, every lesson, everything you're going through is a lesson to make you that better person. That is your end goal.
Yes. Yeah.
So that daughter, tie her for share. Put her like you go laugh for that Cameroon, born that 2 children, experience that
if it's a part,
come back. Your role now is to create a safe place to come back.
Thank you, Nima. Thank you.
Also, what I also understand, there's a part of where sometimes in raising our children, we're not intentional about the sort of person we would like for them
to turn out
to be attracted to want as a spouse. Christians do this a lot, where they pray for their children. You marry a good man, you will be a this, you will be a that. And I think it's important. Because with children, we paint many pictures for them, but we hardly paint a picture of the sort of spouse we want for them. So that as they're growing up and having relationships, they sort of have at the back of their minds the sort of person, it's not like the sort of person my parents want, but this is the good that my parents have always wanted for me, So I will seek this person, I'll seek that. I think I was giving you one story. I said when I was about 14, there was this relative of ours. He met me in the hospital, went to see someone. Then he said to me, he says, I'm going to give you one of my sons. You're going to marry one of my sons. And I was like, I was 14. What did I know? Then one of his friends says, oh, this person. He said, no, that's a troublemaker. I'm giving you this, my other son. He's in Harvard right now. When he finishes from Harvard, 14 did not mean anything, right? I'd gone away. But I tell you, every time, as I was growing up, I knew I was a Harvard bride. Harvard bride. I cannot breathe. I'm not doing anyhow. Yeah, so sometimes we need to start that in them. A kind person. Look for a good person. Look for a hardworking person. So that when they go, it's not just about how the person looks. I've met someone that said, no, I don't have spec. Everything is a spec. Even an elephant is by spec. No, you can't go around.
What's her name? Kafi the dancer, and one lady posted a video of a skit where they say how African women react when their sons bring home the wife to be.
Oh, okay.
That one now do like this. That Kafi, that one set up her glasses. Say, and I wrote there, I said, where I usually see them. So you see the sisters and mothers, they'll come in when the young girl, there was one setting where family people, they brought this Yoruba girl. She came in, she just knelt down. And my aunties were like, if you just sit there, they had that digwana. Careful, oh. Watch them, oh. And the Esako girl that they brought did not do anything. And they know that she's their kind. They did not judge. You understand? And this thing Miriam talked about is quite important in how we groom children. We also know the strength of our children.
Yeah, we do.
So a magistrate, older magistrate I looked up to, her son was just everywhere like that. But his first wife was a go-getter, strong woman, achiever. But she didn't have kids. The mother-in-law stood by her. She felt, if you don't marry my son, imagine you marry somebody like him.
Hey, that's
gone. You will not have anything in life. And I have only this one son. So she wanted a strong woman who would strongly be a backbone if she's no longer there. So she stood by it. He went philandering and had kids by another woman who was like him. She collected the kids and told him, he said, this one is your choice. Anything you do to maintain her is none of my business. So when they have a family gathering like that, that first wife comes, she later had a son. And she comes into the gathering, she'll be like, she'll see that other one doing pepper body. You know Yoruba things now. Be setting up her own table. And her sisters-in-laws and mother-in-law will not move to that table. They'll tell to that woman. So at some particular point, they told her, get up. Who invited you? I came with my husband's invitation. He said, no.
The second wife, that second woman, will see the mother woman, the mother as hostile.
Yes. Yeah.
She will feel that the mother is hostile to her.
I'm talking about how you push for the spouses.
Yeah.
So our son brought home the first wife. She looked and saw the strength he needed in his life journey. She supported him. In his philandry, he ended up with his type.
His part found him.
His type found him.
They have to wrap up very soon.
She said, this one that does not have kids, this one she will have. And they did everything with her. She had one child. He had 3 kids by the philandra wife. They did not support.
Going back to the father-daughter relations, because I know we kind of moved to mother-in-law issues. It's important for us to also understand the love and connection with fathers and daughters. But I want us to just, aside from the fact that you want the husbands to earn the space between that father-daughter love, but in a situation whereby that daughter can't do anything without the father.
She will grow.
How long? Is there a timeline to this growth? How do I know?
As long as you're alive, you keep trying.
Yeah, so first of all, you need to understand the temperament of the daughter. There are people who cannot take decisions by themselves, no matter what. So if she has that type of temperament,
but
it will be
hold on. Wants to feel like I'm the man.
No, wait now.
I am the authority over this woman.
Can you understand first? Understand first the person. Nobody you want to marry. You get to understand your spouse. So understand the temperament of the daughter. If the daughter is somebody that anywhere where breeze blow, now you go. It will be a tough call. For the rest of you people's lives, he may never take you as that full figure. He would always defer to the father. Are you willing to live with that? Some men don't mind. They would. Yeah. She will always bounce off the ideas with the father. It's okay. I understand. As long as the man is thinking about us. They're different personalities. If you see someone that she's a girl, she's very close to her father, sometimes when her father says, go this way, she's like, Daddy, I'm going the other way. Then you have somebody that would, at some point, understand the role that you play as the husband and give you all the respect. But if you don't have that, ask yourself, are you willing to live with it? If you're not willing to live with it, is it by force? You marry somebody else now. Go for somebody else.
You know, the scenarios where we see that animosity, or just the tension is usually maybe very successful, rich, wealthy fathers-in-law, and then a son-in-law who comes from a different background. So the sort of things that, yes, from a humble background. And so you feel like you have to prove yourself in many ways. And that's the part I feel keys into a man, the ego part. Yeah. So a man, you either have a man who says, you know what, I'm going to become my own man. I need nothing from your family.
My own money.
Let's go away, you know. And then you have a woman who is constantly trying to decide, this is my wealthy background and all the things that can come from and live and follow you. Or you have someone, or you have the second bad side, which is, so you have all these things. I'm going to be the mumu for your father,
let us be chopping
so that we can chop it, you know. But what you want is a balance. Someone that understands their worth, and understands that, you know, whether you have what you have or you don't, it would not affect my own relationship with you. And I hope that you respect me for being your husband, not just because I have wealth or don't have wealth. Yeah. So it's everything when it comes to relationship is really about balance. And then people who do that earn the trust of the father-in-law.
At the end of the day.
So, okay, you know what? When I first met you, I didn't think you were good enough for my daughter, but you have proven yourself. I've tested you with money. I've tested you haven't fallen for that. So
I think we can wrap up with that. Thank you so much. And that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you. We didn't take any tweets, right?
We have.
And there were tweets too.
Do you have any?
Biliki says it's disheartening that we are even having this conversation. Do you know how many wounded kids, adults are out there wishing they had a bond with their fathers? Some of us have childhood traumas from missing out on such bonds. She says the crux of the matter is we are a society strange to public display of affection between a father and his daughter. I know there are boundaries, but don't be surprised people will still see this as inappropriate because they never experienced such bond.
All right, that's all we can take on today's show. Hope we learned a few things that we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Entertainment is an opportunity to share. Entertainment is an opportunity to create conversation. As an actor, I have the opportunity to portray different kinds of people, and these different kinds of people represent different people in different ways, represent a part of us in different ways, and it just helps us see the world in a different light. It gives joy, it gives happiness, it gives sadness sometimes, because sometimes we have to look at the realities of the world, and I think entertainment just shows the world as it is.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia, January 15, 1929. The son of a Baptist minister, King received a doctorate degree in theology and in 1955 helped organize the first major protest of the African-American civil rights movement, the successful Montgomery bus boycott. King participated in and led marches for the right to vote, desegregation, labor rights, and other civil rights. He advocated civil disobedience and nonviolent opposition against segregation in the South, influenced by Mahatma Gandhi. The peaceful protests he led throughout the American South were often met with violence. Nonetheless, Dr. King and his supporters were persistent and the movement gained momentum. Dr. King was a powerful orator. He appealed to Christian and American ideals and won growing support from the federal government and Northern White. In 1963, Bayard Rustin and A. Philip Randolph led the massive march on Washington for jobs and freedom. The event's grand finale was King's famous "I Have a Dream" speech. 250,000 people gathered outside the Lincoln Memorial to hear the stirring speech. In 1964, the civil rights movement achieved two of its greatest successes: the ratification of the 24th Amendment, which abolished the poll tax, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibited racial discrimination in employment and education and outlawed racial segregation in public facilities. In the same year, King became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize. In the late 1960s, King openly criticized U.S. involvement in Vietnam and turned his efforts to winning economic rights for poor Americans. He was a leader of the American Civil Rights Movement and organized a number of peaceful protests as head of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, including the March on Washington in 1963. He was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968.
Desde atrás, avanzar sin dudar, ocultar que se tuvo un pasado. Lo importante es saber dónde vas, dominar la pasión, piel de ángel que cubre un león, corazones de fuego y de hielo, en tu dicha se oculta dolor, vuela sin alma, sacrificando el amor, cuerpo sin calma. Estás cometiendo un error, ciega no alcanzas a encontrar